Hello there, my name's Adam Cook, and I'm joined by the wonderful, delightful, in fact, Mike Stubbs. How you doing, mate? All right?
I'm doing good, thank you very much.
Are you doing good because you went and played a scary video game?
Well, I mean, that could be part of the reason why I'm doing good, yeah. Although, like, scariness, not kind of my thing, so maybe that's a little bit bad, but it was quite enjoyable, actually.
It's interesting because I really, really like The Evil Within. Obviously, the person and the team behind it, you know, Resident Evil lineage sort of thing. So I was always going to be interested. I was quite surprised that the way games work nowadays, they make sequels. So, but I was sort of surprised to see this one. And there's a lot of footage. What did you play for about 2 hours?
Yeah, in total it was probably about an hour and 45 minutes that I got to play. It was 3 chapters from the game, so it was chapter 2, which is kind of like the first a little bit tutorial-y kind of thing. Then chapter 3 let us kind of more into an open world type scenario. And then after we did that, we kind of skipped ahead to, I think it was chapter 7. And they were like, right, you're way better now. The game's kind of explained a little bit more. Just go have fun.
Okay, I mean, I should mention at this point, a minute into the video, if you haven't worked out from the title of the video, all the footage you're seeing, we're talking about The Evil Within 2 from Bethesda. You're seeing it in action. It looks rather nice. You were playing on a PC, weren't you? Is that right?
Yeah, super high-end PC that had everything you could ever need. So it did look quite impressive, actually. I was quite surprised because I thought it would be like, obviously it is quite a dark, and for thematic reasons, it's very dark, very brown kind of thing, but it actually looks really good despite it all pretty much being the same colour. Like, you like look around and the lighting that comes down from like streetlights and stuff, you think, God, that actually looks good, and then it lights up and there's colour. So,
I mean, I must admit, I was quite taken aback by how good it does look, and I know people are going to be getting YouTube compression and stuff where people are seeing it, but it's an impressive looking game. Obviously, the PC version is running at, a very, very clear 60 frames, but again, I'm imagining you were playing on an incredibly, incredibly high-end PC, as you say. So, we don't know how it's going to end up on console, but it exists in that form if you want it. But what I'm interested in is one of the things they've changed here. In fact, they did patch it into the first game, the letterbox mode, which they patched so you could see the game full screen, which caused loads of frame rate problems, which they eventually fixed. And I think the original game is now in a state where it's it's fine. I get the impression it's very Resident Evil, but it looks quite quick. Like I noticed there's an enemy you're fighting that's like a big, again, very Resident Evil style enemy that's just slowly coming at you, and you stop in, you pop off a few shots. Looks like a sort of weird, looks like there's loads of female heads on it.
Should be said that I totally played on the easiest difficulty possible, just because
fine.
I had no idea what was going on. So I was like, right, easiest difficulty. So that might be a reason why it does look a little bit kind of quick and running around and just popping caps in people's faces.
It looks sort of non-traditional in that to compare to Resident Evil, it wasn't the kind where there's obviously no tank controls. That's the thing of the past. But it also looked like you had the ability to turn in a more modern third-person way.
Yeah,
not like a shooter almost.
Yeah, it's pretty kind of. It did feel a little bit third-person shootery at times. I mean, like, not all the time. It definitely didn't feel like that for a good chunk of it, where I kind of didn't want to shoot anything. But when you're in that fight, it's kind of, you're in a relatively small area. And obviously this boss is not massively quick, so you can kind of sprint away, turn around and go, right, there's a few shots, and then as you sprint away, you can continue to reload and keep that distance kind of there. And I think that works well, because like the thing that I really hate about games like this is when you get a boss fight and it's just like, oh, I've got to run around and do exactly the same thing, and then I've got to do it 3 times, and then it's all really slow, it's all rubbish. Like, this didn't feel like that at all. This felt kind of a lot speedier, kind of more akin to something like you might find, say, Destiny-wise, where like you've got a big-ass boss that's kind of got a load of health, but you kind of can attack it in multiple different ways instead of having to run and then explode something 3 times.
I'm with you. There's a couple of things I'm interested to know about this, one of which I don't know if you'll be able to answer, because you say you played 3 chapters, and I would imagine they're very specific chapters that Bethesda wanted to show due to spoilers or just whatever their reason might be. But one thing the first game didn't skimp on was the grotesque. And, I mean, there was a section in the first game where you literally went down a slide into an abattoir that was essentially a pool of blood and guts. How is Evil Within it 2 in that regard? Like, is it because it was almost grotesque to the point of this isn't scary? It's just so ridiculously disgusting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there kind of wasn't much of that I saw.
Okay.
Like there was a few bits that are kind of just like, oh, that's a bit minging.
Mm-hmm.
But the kind of stuff that we focused, well, not what we focused on, but that we were shown, especially kind of I think it was the chapter 7 bit, the bit that we skipped ahead to, was kind of more of the like what the hell is going on type things where you're not entirely sure what's happening, but you kind of just go along with it anyway. Yeah,
because that's. I mean, it did do that as well. I should say the first game did do that. There was some. Like, I remember there being a level. I think it was some. God, it was a while ago now, but there's some sort of weird ghost woman. I think a woman that it was like a stealth section, but if you got spotted, it was like an insta kill. But it was incredibly tense because of that, and you had to go and hide in cupboards, and it was. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, The Evil Within is a game that got under my skin because it was disturbing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of went in kind of a little bit apprehensive of like, oh my god, am I going to be like screaming in the middle of the press demo?
Yeah, no one wants to do that.
Like, especially considering that someone I know quite well was sat directly behind me. I was like, if I do that in front of them, like that's just me done. I'm never going to be able to speak to them again. Okay. But I kind of went in and was ready for like all the jump scares and stuff like that, and that kind of didn't happen. I think that's kind of one that I kind of expected anyway, just because of the layout of the room. I was like, something's going to jump out of that. But it was much more of a kind of mind-bending, like, oh, okay, this is kind of weird and creepy, and there's like one character in it that I'm not entirely sure if it's the big bad boss of the game, but he popped up a couple of times across the different chapters. And he's just kind of like, it's just a normal human-looking person, but it's kind of one of them like weaselly, disgusting like people that you just like, you want to punch in the face as soon as you see them. And then he does some stuff, and it's like, I kind of don't see the logic for it, but again, I guess looking for logic in a game like this is a little bit stupid. But like, you can be running down a corridor, and then he'll pop up and be like, haha, turn around, and then you turn around, and the corridor that you've just come to is like totally different and is all changed.
Oh, okay, so they're still doing the environment morphing stuff. Yeah, then. That's still a thing. Okay, that's no, I did like that, but yeah, I see where you're coming from. So another thing, I don't want to compare this game too much to this series, but a series I very much adored was the Dead Space series. And over the course of Dead Space 1 through to eventually 3, the game became less survival horror and more third-person sort of action adventure, which is, some people would be fine with. But with Evil Within, again, resource management was a thing. It really was survival horror. Like, you couldn't just go shooting just willy-nilly. You had to kind of, mean your shots because ammo was finite. In Evil Within 2, again, in fairness, 3 chapters is maybe not enough to say for certain, but of what you played, did that seem like a thing, or does it feel more actiony?
I think it could be a thing, but obviously we played chapter 2 and 3, which is right at the start of the game, so there it's always going to be a little bit easier to kind of do what you want. I totally took it kind of stealthy and just like hid in bushes to try and avoid things that were kind of, if I had to go from one place to another in kind of the open area, I would just try and not kill anything. I'd try and stealth past them. And then there was like a mini boss at the end of 3, and then there was the chapter 7, which was kind of less actiony, so it's kind of difficult to say from what we played. There's totally stuff there. Like there was like collectibles that you can pick up, and it's like, oh, you can use this to upgrade your weapon to make it better, so that you don't instantly die. Like as soon as, because we had to load a different save to go into what was chapter 7 maybe. The person that was like running the demo was like, right, before you do anything, just press start and like, no, not that one. Just run to the workbench and like upgrade your weapons. You've got loads of points because we haven't assigned any of them because we just loaded a save. But if you don't, then like you're not going to be able to do it. So there's definitely stuff like that where you've got to collect things to upgrade your weapons, upgrade your powers.
Okay.
Well, it's not really powers, is it? But upgrade your man's strength and stuff like that.
Yeah. What about the enemies then? What sort of gamut do we run here with the enemies? Obviously, the boss we mentioned is like a grotesque, like I say, multi-headed thing. Again, to me, that's very Resident Evil. What else did we, in terms of enemies, is there?
Most of the ones that we kind of got to see were pretty similar. There's like kind of humanoid zombie type things that are kind of
Yeah.
pretty slow and all
Did you have
roam
to burn
around.
them when you killed them?
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, you didn't bother. Let's put it that way.
there was also like little they looked a little bit like scorpions that kind of crawl along the floor and have got like not really a tail because it's got a head on it, but it'll like flick its back end up and like try and attack you with that, and you got to shoot it and
Nice.
stuff like that. But yeah, that was kind of it. Like, we didn't get much variety in enemy wise. I imagine there will be, but
Yeah, again, 3 chapters, and like you say, 2 of them were early.
yeah.
Okay, so where you know, now you've played a couple of hours. Where do you sit on it? What overall thoughts so far in a preview sense?
I mean, I'm totally going to get it now. Like, I went in.
Really?
I went to the event and I was like, right, the other game I'm seeing, that's the one I'm quite looking forward to playing, but I'll play this as well just because it's there, and played it and was like, actually, this is really good. Like, if I
Okay.
wasn't so busy, I'd probably go back and get the first game and play that first. But
The
yeah,
first
it's
game is
totally
good.
got me into it, and like, I genuinely didn't expect to enjoy it whatsoever. Because horror's not already my thing, but went in and was like, actually, this was incredibly good fun. To the point
Cool.
where they were like, the chapter 7 bit was optional. They were like, if you don't want to play it, then you don't have to.
Oh right, I'm with you.
You can just like go chill out for like 20 minutes and we'll can get you after that. I was like, no, actually, I want to keep playing. This is quite fun. I want to see what it's like. So yeah, I'm totally in, and
It's
like,
always
I'll definitely pick this up now.
I mean, that is, you know, in my experience, and obviously in yours, and I think in anyone who writes about games, it's certainly a very good thing when you're playing a preview build of a game that you know isn't final, you know you can't go all the way through, but you do want to play more of it. That's usually a very good sign of a game that, you know, is worthy of playing. I'm surprised, actually, because it is one I was sort of expecting you to not end up loving. And interestingly, for those listening and watching, if you want to know the other game, it's Wolfenstein, which you can find on the same channel that you're watching this on, where Mike and I will be chatting about that. But there you go. For now, for this video, Stubbsy, thanks very much for your time.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And obviously, everyone knows to go to patreon.com/GodIsAGeek, and if you want to support us and what we do there, that would be very much appreciated. Otherwise, subscribe and listen. You know by now. But also, make sure you hit the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video goes up. That's really important. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.